Yo, what's going on everybody? I figured I should probably put a warning before this video gets underway. Because I'm talking about the DLC for Final Fantasy VII Remake, I kind of wanted to react about it without any restraints. So there is complete spoilers for the storyline throughout the whole video. So if you've not played it or if you've not seen the Yuffie DLC, you should probably go and do that first because I ruin pretty much everything about the storyline and the ending. I'm pretty much just popping off in this video. It's actually more of a reaction video because I decided I wanted to talk about my emotions and feelings towards everything I had just seen rather than do any in-depth analysis or anything like that. Because I'm literally firing off on emotions, there is quite a lot of strong language as well. But then again, this is me we're talking about, so that kind of comes with the territory. Anyway, let's start the video. Yo, what's going on everybody? DiGi Valentine here right about now. Managed to find myself with a quick free 20 minutes of alone time, so I'm not going to get interrupted. I got time to record, and I also really want to talk about this because it's currently fresh in my mind. Just experienced this Final Fantasy VII related thing, and you know when you just you're fresh off the boat with the feelings. You know when you get them feelings there, and it's like fresh in your heart, and you have to talk about it. Yeah, you can tell I'm excited because I am fucking popping off right now. Okay, I have to talk about this Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate Intermission Yuffie DLC shit. I have to talk about it, man. Okay, so I'm telling you straight up right now, spoilers. Okay, like 50 of them. The fucking things look like a Nissan Skyline in the early 2000s with the spoilers, bro. I've got spoilers all over this shit. I am going to be talking straight. I am not going to beat around the bush. I have to talk about this fucking thing. You have been warned. Bruv, I am hyperventilating. Right. Spoiler warning has been established, okay? Aside from the spoiler warning, because I haven't been able to obtain a PS5, I wasn't able to play the Final Fantasy VII Integrate Intermission Yuffie DLC thing. I wasn't able to play that myself. What actually happened was I woke up this morning and like a dickhead, I went on Twitter because that's what you do first thing in the morning. You don't even brush your fucking teeth, you just go on Twitter. So I go on Twitter first thing in the morning and somebody on Twitter with a lot of followers decided it would be a really good idea to post a screenshot from the ending of Final Fantasy VII Intermission DLC. So I had it ruined for me. I had the image ruined for me. I knew something was happening in the ending. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I'm not going to be able to dodge spoilers for an entire year until I either get a PS5 or Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate Intermission Yuffie DLC comes out on a personal computer. I'm not going to be able to dodge spoilers that long, okay? I'm not fucking Neo. I'm not from the Matrix. Man's not got bullet time. I can't dodge that much. So I'm like, alright, you know what? Fuck it, okay? I'm gonna go and watch someone play it. So I went to watch Maximilian play it because he's a complete hype lord, especially for Final Fantasy VII stuff. If you ever want to feel the love about Final Fantasy VII, go watch that guy. I always have a massive grin on my face whenever he's playing that game. Die, Santa! No, Santa, no! No, Santa, no! Santa, no! Oh, hell yes! Oh, fuck you, Santa! Oh, yes!
That was fun as hell. That was fun as hell. Holy shit. Game's so fucking cool, dude. Holy shit, man. Fuck. Fuck, man. This is getting... Oh, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. Holy shit.
But anyway, so he's playing the Yuffie DLC and, you know, I'm watching it and just some thoughts because I just want to talk about it. So I have to get it out of my brain. It's heavy in my heart, okay? What's the current saying that people are saying? My heart is full right now. Ooh, I'm overflowing with the love right now for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Man, I'm just popping off. So anyway, quick things about the Yuffie DLC. Firstly, right out the gates, the character Sonnen, I mean, you know, we all knew that he was gonna die. I did say spoilers. I have told you spoilers. If you're still listening and you're like, oh, why did you it's gonna be one of those videos. Again, final warning. So, everyone had speculated right from the get-go that man was going to die because he's nowhere else in the compilation, and plus he's being featured with Yuffie, who is a character that needs more motivation. Motivational reasons to be doing things. So everyone was speculating right from the get-go, and Final Fantasy VII can be a pretty sad and depressing game to experience. So when Sonnen was announced for Yuffie's DLC, everyone was calling it from the get-go, Sonnen is going to die. So I was like, yeah, he's probably dead, bro. He's probably dead. By the end of that DLC, Sonnen is a dead man. And true enough, he ended up dying at the end. But you know what? Okay, in the short amount of time that we got to spend with Sonnen in those like 7 or 8 hours, I really grew to respect him. Like seriously, like it wasn't huge development. He come from a background where his sister died, so now he's seeing his sister in Yuffie, and he wants to protect her, and he's always trying to, you know, dote on her. He was a proper older brother figure. Like one of the game mechanics, you can't control him. You can issue commands to him, but you can't control him. You can only control Yuffie in this DLC. And if Yuffie gets KO'd, okay, Sonnen sacrifices his life to revive her. He knocks himself out and revives her. Just a game mechanic that he has, that if Yuffie gets KO'd, he'll just sacrifice himself to bring her back. And I'm just like, this guy is a brethren. This guy is a proper older brother. And I just really grew to sort of find him quite charming. And his interactions with Yuffie is also very nice. You know, this is Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've got some of the best voice acting in the entire industry. I don't care what anyone says, and they were just natural with it. They were, and I was just like, man, this character that literally got created just to die in this DLC. Sonnen turns up in one DLC for about 5 to 6 hours in total of actual screen time. Love him, great character, really surprised with him. Yuffie as well, obviously. I mean, I was a bit of a fan of Yuffie before anyway, like before Final Fantasy VII Remake became a thing. From a vanilla original Final Fantasy VII, Yuffie was always a cool character to me. But she was very underutilized because she was an optional character. You could completely miss her. You know, she might never join your party if you've done certain things. So she was a secret character that you could get. But when she was there, I liked her being a bit of a brat. I liked her being, you know, annoying. I liked her tomboyish nature. I appreciated that. So they really leaned heavily into, you know, Yuffie's characteristics and her personality. And she's, you know, doing poses and she's jumping around all hyperactive. And it just works. And the voice acting, again, is just, they really deliver it. And the ending, the end when Yuffie is running out of the Shinra building. If you've seen it, you know. The part where she's run out of the Shinra building and she's running past all the journalists outside and she's crying. That fucking scene, I'm telling you, that was incredible. Incredible voice acting. I was sitting there crying, man. I'm sitting there, tears pouring down my cheek. I'm like, this is too heavy, man. And the voice acting, fuck me, the voice acting is so good. Like, so good. I'm fucking crying, bruv. I'm for real. Like, I was sitting there watching this for the first time. The emotions, rawest emotions. I'm just like, fucking hell. Fucking hell. Phenomenal performance, for real. Absolutely phenomenal. And then I didn't expect the Yuffie DLC to do this, okay? But the Yuffie DLC actually builds upon the ending that we got in regular Final Fantasy VII Remake. So at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cloud and Barret and the whole squad, they end up leaving Midgar. And it's like, alright, cool, yeah, we'll see them in the next game. Yuffie's DLC builds upon that moment in the story where they're leaving Midgar. You actually see them out in the world. You actually see them walking along a dusty dirt track road, and they're heading towards the next village in the game, which is Calm. And they're talking about it. They're talking about, are we going to walk all the way to Calm? You know, it's like it's incredible that they showed this. They didn't need to show this, but they're showing it. They're world building us for the next game by showing us in a cutscene of what the world might be like outside Midgar and what the roadways look like. The fucking ending shows us motorways in the distance. Like, they're on the main road. They hitchhike with the chocobo guy with his chocobos, and they go in the van a bit. And when they reach Calm, he ducks off onto a slip road, and you can see in the distance there's motorways. We've got actual freeways and motorways on this planet, which is something that the original game didn't have. So now we've got infrastructure. We've got roadway infrastructure between the cities that wasn't there in the original game. We've got it now, and it just completely builds the world up. We've gotten these little tidbits. You're being shown what the world is like outside Midgar. It's gearing you up for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. They're showing us roads, how to travel between towns, what the next town is. They've got motorways out there, those kinds of things. You know, it's just little bits of world building that I wasn't expecting to see in a DLC about Yuffie. And then we ended up getting the main party members and having an extended ending for their own side of the story. And then it doesn't even stop there, okay? This is the part that fucked me hard, okay? It doesn't even stop there, because after the party just reached Calm and they're walking up to the village in the distance, we cut to another different scene entirely. and it's about Zack. Now, if you guys know me, you know that Zack is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. Like, I've spoken about Zack so much in these Final Fantasy VII Remake videos. I was not expecting to see development for Zack in Yuffie's DLC ending, but they did. So if you guys have seen it, you know that Zack arrives in Midgar now. He's in Midgar. He's standing outside Aerith's church in the Sector 5 slums. And he's going to reintroduce himself to Aerith because he's been away from her. In lore canon, he's been away from her for like 2 years, 3 years. I can't remember. It's been a couple of years because his whole storyline happened and it took him away from Aerith. And then a whole bunch of Shinra related shit happened and he couldn't get back to Aerith. And he promised he would see her again. And he was never able to keep that promise because in the original Final Fantasy VII storyline, Zack dies on the way back to Midgar. So in this timeline, Zack has now made it back to Midgar. He's about to fulfill his promise. He's standing outside the church doors and he's thinking to himself, well, how should I reintroduce myself to her? It's been years since she's seen me, you know? She hasn't seen me for years. What do I say? So he's a charming scene where he's just standing outside the front of the doors, all sort of like going through different ways to reintroduce himself. Like he's standing outside and he's going, hey, long time no see. And then he thinks, oh, that sounds a bit corny. That sounds a bit, you know, throwaway. Let me try something else. Hey, how you been? Kind of thing. And he's just going through these lines. He's just going through, like, I can relate to that. People can relate to that where you just, what the hell do you say in an awkward situation? What do you say? And it's just nice to see Zack go through this moment outside the church. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm thinking to myself while I'm watching this, okay, so he's going to open a door and Aerith's going to be in there and he's going to fulfill his promise. He opens the door and it's full of people just sitting around crying and Aerith's flower bed, all the flowers have died and they've withered away. And it leads to imply that in this alternative timeline, Aerith is already dead. So, oh man, they're swerving on this bruv, it's so, anytime a cutscene plays in this game, anytime there's any story development, okay, I am paying attention, I am like laser focused, I'm like, okay, someone's gonna say something now, and it's gonna imply something else, then we're gonna see some sort of scene, and it's gonna be symbolism for something. And I'm just like, when this happened, I'm like, okay, in this alternative timeline, Zack thought he was about to fulfill his promise. Like, you gotta understand that between Zack and Aerith, this promise was important. At the end of Crisis Core, Zack promised Aerith that he would come back to her. Obviously, in the original timeline, he couldn't keep that promise because he died. So now I'm watching this scene outside the church. I'm like, oh, he's gonna fulfill his promise. He's gonna reunite with Aerith. And he goes into the church and it dawns on you that in this timeline, actually, it looks like Aerith's already dead in this timeline. And it's a gut punch. It is a gut punch. I'm like, no, because obviously the game just ends right there. Like, literally the last word to happen in the game is Aerith. And I'm just like, no, bruv, no, fucking no, oh my god. It got me, man. It fucking got me. But man, I'm just geeked. I'm geeked out. Okay, I mean, when they announced the Yuffie DLC, I lost my shit. I was not expecting to see Yuffie this early. And the fact that she turned up, fucking, oh my god. Another thing, before I ever forget, I have to bring this up as well. Something that's strange, and I don't want to jinx it. Oh god, I don't want to jinx it. But you know how they implemented like elements of Dirge of Cerberus into this DLC, like deep ground members like Nero and Weiss and all that. You guys know me, okay? When I talk about Final Fantasy VII compilation stuff, when it comes down to like fucking Genesis, and when it comes down to Dirge of Cerberus's characters, I really don't like it, okay? That being said, the way that the remake series so far has been handling the Dirge of Cerberus stuff and the Genesis stuff, like we even saw like Nero, he was a boss fight in the Yuffie DLC, like Nero was an actual present antagonist. And I'm just like, I mean, when Nero turned up, I rolled my eyes and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. There goes the whole game now. The whole game's going right in the trash. And the boss fight started and he was doing his usual dark, broody, masochistic bullshit. And I'm just like, yeah, but the presentation is really good right now. They're handling this quite well. And I have to stress this, I don't want to jinx it, but at the same time, I really, really hope that Square Enix, if Square Enix are going to continue to use the Deep Ground Soldier stuff, and if they're going to use Genesis at some point, GACT, if they keep it like this, the way they've done so far, I might be okay with it. And it's strange because I never in a million years, if I travel back to the early 2000s and I told myself, hey bruv, listen, when you're in your mid 30s, they're going to remake Final Fantasy VII, and in there, you're going to have all this deep ground shit, but you're actually going to be okay with it. If I told myself that, my teenage self is going to box me in the face, bruv, with a baseball bat. It's going to get fucking lift up, you get me? But it's happened. Here I am talking positively about fucking Nero. I'm saying to Square, if you're gonna use all the deep ground stuff, you're gonna keep using Dirge Cerberus and Gact and all that shit. These little side story elements, these little sprinkles, I'm totally fine with. I even find myself enjoying it. Like, I was watching somebody else on YouTube fight the Weiss boss fight in the Battle Data Center, whatever the fuck it's called, the VR simulator. And I was watching Weiss, or however you pronounce his name. And I was watching him like flipping and dipping, and he's getting, you know, doing all these cool sword attacks. And I'm like, bruv, don't make me respect you, please. You're a bloody fucking avatar for Hojo. You're a fucking cornball. Don't make me respect you with all this cool shit that you're doing. But again, if Square Enix just ever so slightly utilize the Dirge Cerberus stuff and the deep ground stuff here and there, and they don't force it into every scene. Like, one thing I don't want to see, okay? When they show the Nibelheim flashback, I do not want to see Genesis in that scene talking about the fucking Loveless bullshit. I don't want him standing there while Zack and Sephiroth are having a shouting match, and fucking Genesis is at the back with his stupid dumb apples and his dumb fucking poetry book, and he's going, oh, the gift of the goddess, I'm going to fuck with this apple. I don't need to see that shit, bruv. I don't want to see that shit. Leave all the Genesis stuff to the side. If you want to utilize Genesis and deep ground and all that shit, and you have to keep it in, if Square Enix have to keep all that shit in, utilize it as a side story. Keep it out of the main shit, please. I am begging you. I do not want to see Genesis up in that fucking Nibelheim reactor with his damn book. I don't want to see it. But if you want to use Genesis on the side, if you want to develop some side stuff and it doesn't affect the main storyline with Sephiroth and them lot, you know what? You have my blessing. Okay? Keep the deep ground shit and all that shit to the side. Keep it as a side story. Do not interweave it with the main storyline. Oh. Do you know what, man? I feel like I've just run a marathon. Fucking. But yeah, I just wasn't expecting them to develop Yuffie that much in a small side DLC story. But they did. And she's brilliant and she's amazing. And I always like Yuffie and now I absolutely love her. I think she's brilliant. I wasn't expecting to like Sonnen that much. You know, the guy was dead upon arrival. But holy shit, they developed him enough just for me to give a shit about him. They gave him some sort of quirks and characteristics that made me go, you know what? I respect this motherfucker. I like him. They used deep ground soldiers and I didn't hate it. What the fuck? You know, what the fuck? And then on top of everything, we've got an extension to the ending for Final Fantasy VII Remake where the characters arrive in calm. I wasn't expecting that either. And then on top of that, motherfucking my boy Zack Fair turns up and I'm like, I was not expecting to see you here. And on top of that, I wasn't expecting this scene to be so fucking deep, bruv. Just, you know, in the 8 hours that Max was playing Yuffie's DLC, that's worth your money. That, to me, that's how you do a DLC, bruv. When you get that much and it hits you that much. I ain't even spoken about Fort Condor, the minigame. I love that. Fucking hell, now I'm talking about Fort Condor. Look, this is a DLC. Bruv, this is DLC, fam. We're talking about a DLC here. This ain't even the main game. Fort Condor mini battles, okay? That has so much character. I love the fact that they turned the crappy Fort Condor side quest in the original game into a board game now. With these tiny little miniature figures that you roll around on the board. And the fact that the miniature figures that you use in the board are based off the old low poly characters used in the original Final Fantasy VII. I love that shit. If they bring Fort Condor as a minigame into Remake Part 2 and you can still play Fort Condor in Remake Part 2, you know what they need to do? For Fort Condor mini battles in Remake Part 2, do you know what they need to do? They absolutely need to make it so that you can have models of the characters in the game. So you can get a Cloud Strife figurine or a Tifa figurine and they fight on the Fort Condor battles as well. How fucking charming would that be? Like, you just imagine it, yeah? You buy a Cloud Strife Fort Condor figurine and Remake Cloud is just standing there holding his low poly pixelated self before he plays a game of Fort Condor. It writes itself, man. I can't believe they did that with Fort Condor. A minigame, it ended up being charming and full of personality. This was brilliant. I was not expecting this much. I was not expecting this much charm and character and personality and depth and content for a better use of the word. I was not expecting all of that from a DLC about Yuffie Kisaragi. Spoiled. I wish I could play this. I wish motherfuckers didn't do such a long extended exclusivity deal and that it had to be on PS5. I get why they done it, but I wish this was on PC so I can just log into Steam and there it is. Let me play the motherfucking game, please. I can't get a PS5. I am not gonna find one. Just put Final Fantasy VII Remake on Steam, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Kindness. Thank you very much. I want to play it. But yeah, I'm gonna stop there because you can clearly tell that if I keep going, I am not going to stop. I'm going to continue, and that's not good to me right now. Okay, I need to actually sit down. I'm pacing the room. I'm just walking around the house. I'm pacing. I'm pacing while I talk about this. I'm just so excited about it. I love it. But yeah, I'm gonna stop. I have to stop. Square Enix, absolutely love what you did. Absolutely love what you did. Just please let me play it. I want to play it. I want to give you money, motherfuckers. I want to give you money. And I can't because I haven't got a PS5. So, yeah. I'm going to shut up. I'm out of breath. Whew. I'm DiGi Valentine. Thanks for your time. Take care and stay safe.